This is it, our beloved homeland. However, if you look carefully, you might notice a slight issue with it. Yeah, that's right. There appears to be no actual Kurdistan, but only a region covering four other states. When someone says Kurdistan, they refer to the regions of the northeast of Iraq, the west and northwest of Iran, the southeast of Turkey, and the north and northeast of Syria. And this is the only land we have recently gained back, but only as an autonomous region. The northern part of Iraq with its capital in Erbil, and slowly expanding ourselves towards the northern Syrian region, Rojava. We had the ancient Persians coming from the east, Alexander the Great from the west, and the Muslim Arabs from the south, later followed by the Seljuk Turks. Then we had the Mongols and the medieval Persians coming from the east, and of course, in the 16th century, the great Ottoman Turks from the north. And well, most recently, the US in its 2003 invasion in Iraq. It all started somewhere on the great Mount Ararat, which is more than 16,200 feet high, when Noah's Ark is supposed to have come to rest. It is in mid-Kurdistan that the two biblical rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, have their sources. Starting with the fall of Nineveh in 612 BC until the conversion to Islam, it can be said that the history of the Kurdistan of today has coincided with that of the Persian Empire. The efforts by our people to settle in our country began with the arrival of the Medes Empire around 1000 BC, which, after first defeating the Persians and then overcoming the Assyrians, lately formed the largest empire of that time period. The boundaries of the Median Empire encompassed all of what is today known as Kurdistan. Starting with 550 BC, when the Median Empire was defeated by the Persians, our people began a phase of permanent occupation and subjection to tyranny. During the Arab invasions happening around the 6th and 7th century CE, our people lived under the occupation of different enslaving empires. Having put up fierce resistance to the Arabo-Muslim invasions, Kurds ended up joining Islam without, as a result, becoming Arabized. That is why the Kurds moved towards the harshest areas in the mountains, leading them to form an internalized tribal society. However, during the feudal period, the tyrannies increased and ended with a bloody victory for the Arabs, with their dominance lasting until the late 10th century. In the second half of the 10th century, Kurdistan is shared amongst four big Kurdish principalities. In the north, we have the Shaddadids, in the east, the Hassanwides, and the Banu Anas, and lastly, in the west, the Marwandis of Diyarbakir. In the 11th century, a notable barbarian occupation arises over Kurdistan, the Oghuz or Seljuk Turks, which rule the area under the power of the Turkish lords. This was a period of great violence and massacres for which the Kurds responded to with resistance till the late 20th century. Around 1150 CE, the Sultan Sanjar, the last of the Seljuk monarchs, created a province from Kurdistan with its capital in the village Bahar, near Ekbatane, the capital of the Medes. It included the vilayets of Sanjar and Shahrazur to the west of the Zagros Mountains, and to their east, those of Hamadan, Dinaver, and Kermanshah. Only about 12 years after this disappearance of the last great Seljuk, in 1169 CE, a Kurdish dynasty, that of the Ayyubids, was founded by the famous Salahuddin. We all know Salahuddin, the greatest commander, the conqueror of the Crusaders, the winner of Jerusalem, and the hero of the medieval Islam. His empire encompassed all Kurdistan, Syria, Egypt, and Yemen. He took over the leadership of the Muslim world for almost a century, until the Turco-Mongolian invasions of the 13th century emerged. It was quite similar to the Germanic Roman Empire, claiming to reassemble peoples, kingdoms, and principalities of the Catholic Church. Saladin was nonetheless no more than a Kurdish patriot, than Saint Louis was a French nationalist. At the beginning of the 16th century, the Kurdish land becomes the main stake of rivalries between the Ottoman and the Persian empires, with Sheikh Idris Bitlisi, one of the representatives of the Kurdish feudal dynasty, having played a key role in securing the power of the Ottomans over Kurdistan. Confronted with the choice of being annexed at some point by Persia or formally accepting the supremacy of the Ottoman Sultan in exchange for a wide autonomy, Sheikh Idris I Bitlisi, who is also the author of the first treaty of the general history of the Ottoman Empire, opted for the second choice, which implied a total of 17 Kurdish principalities of Hakimates possessing a wide autonomy. At first, the Ottoman Turkish rule was not very strong, and therefore the Kurdish feudal lords enjoyed extensive autonomy. Although later, in the 18th century, along with the advent of capitalism, the Ottomans suffered a series of defeats resulting in loss of income and therefore increased pressure and exploitation on their internal colonies, and more precisely on us. In the 19th century, this pressure massively increased, and as a result, several tribes took part in an attempt to revolution, which only made things worse and increased the pressure. Wars for the unification and independence of Kurdistan marked the first part of the 19th century, with the last independent Kurdish principality of Bhutan collapsing in 1847. When the Ottoman Empire collapsed, after the end of the First World War, the pressure on the Kurdish people started to come from the outside instead.